I had a dream that you and I flew away into the sky last night without time by our side, but we couldn't find place where life could survive. So we tried to hide in each other's eyes, 'cause you told me that you love me the way that dark things should be. Light in between the shadows, between heaven and hell, and are you to go to hell with me if the sky turns its eyes from me? Don't leave me alone, 'cause my demons and I aren't afraid to die. And I tried to fight it, but baby I like it not being so clear. So when you're ready, I'll be waiting at the edge of the world where heaven and hell sit side by side. And when it's time, you'll decide if I'm worth it. Baby, tell me I'm worth it, 'cause you told me that you love me the way that dark things should be. Light in between the shadows, between heaven and hell, and are you willing to go to hell with me if the sky turns its eyes from me? Don't leave me alone, 'cause my demons and I aren't afraid to die. And I tried to fight it, but baby I like it not being so clear. Living in the shadow isn't so hard. Nobody knows who you really are. So baby, let's go. Let's go to the place nobody knows, 'cause you told me that you love me the way that dark things should be. Light in between the shadows, between heaven and hell, and are you willing to go to hell with me if the sky turns its eyes from me? Don't leave me alone, 'cause my demons and I aren't afraid to die. And I tried to fight it, but baby I like it not being so clear.
And it kind of blew my mind because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, have I been closing cereal boxes wrong my whole entire life? Like, seriously, like I was like sitting there like having an existential crisis about it. It's just like someone showed, you ever see someone, they show the video of them trying to open the milk carton, like the school one where it's like you pop it, like how I would do is like you tear the thing and then you push it out and it like just opens up the tab. But apparently there was like a way for you to shove the straw in it, and I was like, what? And it like took me back,
There's a
man.
lot of things floating around there. I can't think of one off top, but once you mentioned cereal things, I have a thing every time I try to open the bag inside of it, I rip the whole thing. Cereal goes all over the place. I can never just open it.
Yeah, you and my kids do that. And it's the most
He
Oh,
says
thanks.
you and your kids. Mike never does it.
Open on the fucking scene, dude.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about, bro, but I never nail it. I never get a good one where it's just like, yeah, I'm hoping every time. It's like a thing with me. I'm like, all right, I got it this time. I got it this time. I need a coach. I need a coach to help me open up the cereal bag.
Yo, listen, a little bridging the gap thing here because I have this question now. So did you guys back in high school? Did you guys have like lunch numbers? Like when you guys had to get lunch and stuff, how did that work? I'm kind of curious now because I don't know the answer to this question.
What do you mean,
Well,
lunch number?
Like whenever I would get lunch, like back in high school, right, or like elementary school, whatever, you would go up, you would get your lunch, and then you'd be given a lunch number that you had to memorize every day, and you'd punch it in. Mine was 902079, and then
Nah.
so how did it work for you guys?
You either got cash or a lunch ticket, right, Mike? You in that
We would either go up and get a free lunch, or if you brought lunch, it would be you already had it with you. But we didn't have to put in numbers. My kids have to do that. They've had the same numbers since they got in elementary school, so they know it like the back of their hand at this point.
Right.
But and whether they're buying something or getting something for free, they still have to put the number in.
Exactly. That's exactly how it was for me. Yep. Hey, Ashley, how's it going? Matt Thompson, what's good? Flexing emojis, you like that? Yeah, let's get it. Tasha Farmer, what's up, fellas? But anyway, I was curious. So you guys didn't have lunch numbers because, like I said, I don't know when it started, but what's that?
There was no technology when I went to school, bro. You had a ticket. You had a lunch ticket. And if you lost
Like
that
Willy
lunch
Wonka?
ticket, if you lost that lunch ticket, bro, you were screwed. They gave you the hardest time about getting your lunch.
Tasha Farmer says, I had a lunch card that got punched for 2 weeks worth of lunches.
There you go.
Yo,
She knows what I'm talking about.
Was it like one of those punch cards, like if you ever go to like, what's that place called, Sweet Frog or something? Like they punch a hole through it, and if you get 7, you get a free coffee or ice cream or something. It was kind of like that.
Nothing free from my school district. They were giving shit, bro. They like I just said, if you didn't have that card, you had to pretty much sign your life on the dotted line to say you'll be back tomorrow or whatever to pay for this lunch. You got to call mom and stuff.
We didn't have tickets or cards or anything. You just go up and grab a lunch if you wanted if you were getting a free lunch, or you just stayed at your table and got whatever, if you had brought something, you know what I mean?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. So like back in the day, you just went up and got the food, huh?
Yeah. Well, remember, this is the school district of Philadelphia, so it wasn't that awesome.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
It was like an old ass apple.
Right. But anyway, guys, how's it going? Dev here, Coach B, you know who it be. And we have our special guest today, Mike, founder of Pennsylvania Predator Hunters. And Mike has been on the show before. We had him back in November, and he was terrific there. And we asked a lot of questions about his organization. But Mike, just for everybody out there who might be watching this who hasn't seen you in our previous episode, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, Pennsylvania Predator Hunters, we to condense it as much as possible, we have decoys who set up profiles online, and they pose as kids, usually 14, 15. And when someone approaches them online, the decoy tells them how old they're supposed to be. And then if the guy starts talking sexually and then asks to meet up to have sex, instead of meeting who they think is a kid, they meet me instead. And then we blast them on Facebook and all that.
And then we go in on them.
Like we were talking about before we came on, didn't get too much into it, but I seen one maybe a month ago. I always check on them when they pop up. I get the notification, so I go in and check and see what you're doing. But the one dude, I thought you were gonna rip his head off at the mall. You say you can't remember because you have so many of them, but it was fucking hilarious. I know it's not a hilarious situation, but it was hilarious because it looked like you were about to beat the shit out of that dude. And I was like, Mike, chill. Get him and pass him off. But you were there. You were like this up to the point where it was going there.
If it's the one I'm thinking about, I woke up in a horrible mood, and as soon as I had to go do the exposure and I was hungover, So I
Right.
went into it kind of angry, more so than usual. If it's the one that I'm thinking of, it was daytime, and the guy was walking around like the outside of the mall for a while. Is that
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like he went to the garage. Like this dude just all he did is do laps around the mall basically, and you just followed him. You were gunning him the whole way. You wouldn't let this dopey go nowhere. Like I think he was getting ready. I don't know what he was doing to be honest with you. How it started. I just know when you came out on him, and then you said what you said. He was gone. You were like, "Hi, Mike with Pennsylvania Predator Hunters." Like, we had a decoy for or you were speaking with a decoy for our organization, or however you say it. And as soon as you said that, he just looked at you like his eyes were like, and then he like walked out the door like and then you just kept following him like where are you gonna go, huh? And he kept saying like get that camera out of my face, and you start like he was gonna punch you, and you're like you don't want me to turn this camera off is what you said to him.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And which
I definitely get that.
Like
And put
ideally, we want them
answers.
to have a conversation, and the goal is to keep it as calm as possible because we want them to be comfortable in a way, and they start to admit why they're there. And then when we go to law enforcement and say, "Hey, we have not only this guy talking to a kid online, which the cops honestly they normally ignore, but
Mm.
the guy showed up to actually have sex with the kid." You know what I mean? So it makes for a nice package to bring to the police, but and also it makes it so when it hits Facebook and then their family and friends all see it, then they're not really able to say, oh no, that wasn't me, or somebody hacked my account or some shit. It's like, nah, you can't say it was the hackers when you showed up to the
yeah.
meet in that
Yeah.
conversation. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I
You
want to
took
read it.
action.
Oh, sorry. I was going to read a couple chats here real quick. Supporting Mike and PPH, Missy Wilson, Martina Nita, PPH, Shannon Lawman, Kunkel. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. She said, hey, hey. Sabrina Ajak here to support Mike from APP. And Pennsylvania Predator Hunter says, hey, Mike, and then does the flex emoji. I don't know if we're all, if that's like what's going on. Like we all have is that you guys like signature thing, the flex emoji?
Yeah, I
Right.
always put the flex emoji. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
the
got you.
flex. It's definitely a flex thing that you're doing, man. Like I said, man, that's a definitely great thing. So it brought me to the question that I seen because like all through this time, I've asked people that were whether they're in school or whether they were a teacher or that we've been interviewing through this corona, this lockdown shit. Um, what's happening with what you're like? You obviously can't be out and about too much. I don't know. I haven't seen too much of that. And I read an article where it said that this is like a stage where these weirdos are like grooming because they can have them on the computer this whole time. Is there a defense that you guys a strategy that you guys got going in defending that? If you can't talk about it, that's fine. But I was just wondering, is there one?
Yeah. Well, honestly, once everything hit, at first I was blowing it off like it was overblown, like most people were. But then once everything got kind of locked down, um, just to just to be more responsible, we're not really doing it. I think we had one like a month ago, which was after lockdown, but I had to go to Walmart anyway, so I just did food shopping while I was there. So technically, I wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah,
we travel.
problem solved.
But yeah, the decoys are still working, and I'm sure once all this bullshit's over with, once we hit the ground running again, we're probably going to hit hard. I hope so, because like I said, decoys are always working, and so we'll find out if there's any truth to that. Like it's prime time for grooming, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
So but hopefully not at the same time. Hopefully they're just they'll all fizzle out and go away, and they're not actual predators. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, the so this was something I have. There's two questions. One asked by someone in the audience, but one that I have about seasonal. But we'll start with Justin Gower. He has a question. He says, "Dumb question. Is there?" That's always good when you start with dumb question. Is there any, or sorry, I'm guessing he's meaning any. Is there any concern they might go home and just snap on their family? Does that ever happen? Are you ever worried they might just go home and just do something absolutely insane?
Well, yeah, that's always a concern. We don't want anyone getting hurt, even like we don't want anything to grow from an exposure where somebody's going to get hurt at all ever. Especially family. So I never really put too much thought into the guy leaving and snapping on me.
Yeah, because of course it's all about the concern is always about exposing that person, make sure it doesn't harm somebody, someone's child, and I guess what you'd have to call it is like a necessary risk because even if he may do something that's he might, which is that chance is probably smaller than what it would be if this guy was allowed to keep walking around or at least unexposed. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've one thing that's happened to a lot of teams out there that we haven't had to deal with at Pennsylvania Predator Hunters is suicide after exposure. I haven't had to deal with that process. It would be something kind of hard to process, even though they're a predator. It's still, it would be like one of those, angel versus devil thing on your shoulder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But so I have put thought into that. However, we've exposed guys who've lost their families, their houses, their jobs, their everything in life, but we haven't heard anything about any domestic situations that arose because of what we do.
Yeah, that was how we came across you, because up our way, we asked you that before, but up our way and around the Altoona area, there was a mailman that I seen all the time in the area. Talked to him and everything. He ended up getting exposed. He had his mail suit on and everything. Yep. Next day, killed himself. So that's when I wanted to find out.
I was just talking about that guy the other day. I was on a live with I think it was Chad from Dirty South Justice, and someone asked a question about suicide, and I brought that up because I trained the guy who did that exposure. That was his very first exposure, and like you said, mailman, and the next day he ate a bullet in the park or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that wound up taking like 7 months off after that. He did a few more exposures after that, but that was his only exposure for a while, and I don't blame him. Like I said, man, it's got to be a weird thing to process. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And we had another question from Ashley Palmer. Gotta love Ashley. Love you, Ash.
What's up, Ash?
She asked if you have ever had to get violent or with anybody before during any of these.
It's gotten physical a few times. We obviously try and avoid that, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. When you have somebody into a corner, they go into that fight or flight mode, and sometimes they pick fight. So it has, but it's never been full-blown fisticuffs.
Right.
There have been a few blows exchanged. There's been pushing, elbowing, you know what I mean? But nothing too crazy.
Yeah, because I could imagine most of these motherfuckers is cowards anyway. But you're better than me, because like the day we were just talking about when you're in the mall and I thought it was going to go down that time, I would be no good in that situation. You guys would be like, hey, you just got to stay home, bro. Do something else, like do the paperwork or be a decoy, because I'm going to put hands on it as soon as I see it, It's going to turn ugly, and then we're never going to, you know what I mean? We're going to get arrested. So, it takes very patience. So that brings me to this question. Do you, I know, like you just said, like dealing with that stuff and seeing that stuff every day, I would imagine it'd be something like, a police officer or something like that in that manner, where you come home with a lot of shit. How do you get that? How do you level that off before you step off into your house?
Well, it's always with me because doing this under normal circumstances is kind of an around-the-clock job. You know what I mean? Normally, I'm in constant communication with the decoys. I'm seeing chat logs. So there is no, office time and home time. The goal is to, after an exposure, walk back in my door afterwards. You know what I mean? But there really is no way to separate it. But the easiest way that I've found, I get a lot of help from my friends at Stateside Vodka. That's right.
Hey, send them an invoice.
Send them an invoice. Shameless plug. I love it.
Send
Kathy,
them in.
but Kathy Hop. I'm hoping I say that correctly, Kathy. Have you ever busted the same person twice?
Yes, we had, I believe it was 3 people that we got twice, and
Fucking idiots.
came to a third time, but we weren't able to expose them the third time because after twice they got a little hip to it, to
Yeah.
what we.
They
I mean,
recognized the truck. Like they pulled in, they looked, they're like, ah, shit, another one, and then pulled out.
Zipped out.
Oh my god, it's disgusting and sick. But now here's the question I wanted to ask. So, you've been doing this for a little while, and I wanted to, and the change in the seasons is coming. The weather's getting different, and I thought about this as a weird question, but I thought it would be interesting to answer. Do the numbers of this increase seasonally? Of not like your work, but of like it seems like the amount of predators that are out there looking for children victims. I mean, is it more during like the warmer times of the year, colder, etc.? I'm kind of curious.
the one difference I found between between the seasons is not it does come in waves, but that's not seasonal. That's just the ebbs and the flows of doing this. But when it's nicer out is when I had exposures at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Where I'm at Turkey Hill all day and all night. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say there's more or less in warmer or colder temperatures, but the schedules seem to be a lot more open when it's nicer out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like more likely to come at 3 a.m. when it's nicer out, and you know what I mean. It's not 20 degrees out.
Right. Yeah. And oh, sorry, Coach. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. And another question I had about it is I seen, I follow the page, I see it, I get into it. I seen, I guess it wouldn't be excluded, but I wouldn't think that this would be something that everybody would be on different sides from. A little while ago, I seen that there was some beef between some different type of, I guess, what do you call them, groups, organizations, or whatever. I seen that you were in some kind of little heated battle or something like that. What is that? What does that stem from? Is that stem from the way that they're doing it, or something in that matter, or what is it?
All right. There's a dark underbelly of predator hunting. There is a lot of and that just like exposure, it comes in waves. So sometimes there will be a lot of behind the scenes drama. Sometimes it'll be a comment taken the wrong way that launches this whole shitstorm of drama. But other times, when a team starts and they're just out there and they go against everything that good teams stand for and the process of it, that those people I have no problems at all calling out. There's one who just started up in Pennsylvania in the past like 2 months, and he's the decoy and the hunter. So, and he's on there talking as a 15-year-old girl, like, can I see your C word? And you want to like getting like more sexual than the people he's labeling as a predator. That I have an issue with. And then, me and a couple other teams said something to him and he wound up blocking us all. So some process, and the process being disregarded because so many of us have put so much of our lives into this, for somebody to just come along and, you know what I mean? It's just kind of a spit in the face. But usually any drama behind the scenes, and there's a lot of it, it's usually somebody just has a personal issue with someone. It's just like a job. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just hate people.
Right. Well, they just hate that employee. Caleb Barlow just said a comment that I dare not repeat almost, but he says, I saw one team ask the predator to come on his face and tell him how it tastes. And
What?
like stuff like that is like, I think it's just like, I don't know. Like, you're breaking the borderline of, like, are you really doing it to expose the dude, or are you, like, having fun with it or something? Because that shit is creepy.
That's a great point. I see some of these logs, and like the guy I just brought up a minute ago, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to promote him in any way, but a lot of people know who I'm talking about. But uh, he, I'm like, are you acting out like you're,
Fantasy?
right? Yeah, are you acting out your fantasies that you aren't able to act out on in real life because you're afraid or whatever? You know what I mean? Because nobody can talk that sexually without some, the old saying, behind every joke there's some truth to it.
Right.
Right.
When you're that hot and heavy into talking to a predator, you're more sexual than he is. You're asking to see dick pics and all this. It's like, dude, you obviously have some issues going.
You're fucking crazy, bro. You're into this shit and you're disguising it. So yeah, and I would think though, because I watch Criminal Minds and shit like that. There's always that one person that's like a cop doing some fucked up shit or some, in that manner. So there's got to be a few of them motherfuckers posing as that and getting into some sick shit.
And for them, it's the perfect cover because they can say that they're talking to these people it's perfect cover. It's camouflage. They can hide like a wolf in sheep's clothing and say, yes, I'm hiding in plain sight talking to these younger children because I'm trying to expose predators. But realistically, you're not. You're that. You are the thing that you are.
You're at self as the predator's on the other end taking care of himself or whatever, thinking he's talking to a little girl.
Right. You know what I mean? Sick fucking people, man.
Sick people also are too financially motivated doing it. That causes a lot of issues between teams. People who are constantly posting their PayPal and Cash App and all that. It's obviously financially motivated. So motivation is a big thing that people call other people out on doing this.
That's interesting, though, saying that. So that would be a question. I didn't have that question, but as you saying that, obviously you guys would need, like you said, it's motivational. I coached a lot of times, years where it would cost me money to do it just out of passion. But then the bigger that we got and the more and more we were doing things, we obviously needed funding. So I would have to go find funding sources for that. Is that something that you guys do, or you just say, hey, like that PayPal's there, everybody knows it, just throw some, something in there. You don't too much promote it.
We never promote anything. We sell decals, but I give more away than anything. So like the cost of production plus the cost of shipping, it's, you know what I mean? As many as I give away kind of negates. So it's not really, we don't have any real overhead here. There's everything I buy is like optional. Like I got an embroidered coat, you know what I mean? I got a hoodie and all, like, I don't need all that shit, but I got it. So almost
listen, you gotta look fly to death when you pull up to some dude. You gotta have the fresh coat, like you're the law, man. Like, you about to see the face of God. You have to look that fresh when you pull up. Like, oh yeah, it's about to happen. You ran into the wrong dude today, sir.
And it does give you a little more of an edge if you have a hat on with what you're talking about, a jacket on that's embroidered. It's not just you're not just in street clothes approaching another guy in street clothes acting like you're somebody putting a camera in their face. You know what I mean? It gives you some validity.
Yeah, people see it. So is there strategic? Do you guys practice?
No.
You don't. You're just on go. Like, hey, it's time to go, guys. No strategic to it or anything.
No. Well, there's definite strategies. Every exposure, it's 100% strategy because we need the guy to get there. We need to stay low. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I have like 8 people with me. You know what I mean? It's really, and everyone, all the other hunters, they know the deal by now. They've all been on the team for a while, so there's not really any reason to, give direction unless it's, a game time decision where it's like, all right, this guy isn't getting out of the car. Here's the plan. I'm going to walk up this side. You stand here. I'll be, you know what I mean? Aside from that, the only strategy we have is the decoy strategy to get them out of the car. And on my end, it's to lay as low as possible until he does get out of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it one of those things like I could imagine I feeling it like if I get a call and somebody says, "Hey, somebody just put their hands on your daughter or my sister," and I'm out the door on go. I got that butterfly in my stomach. Like soon as I get there, I barely put the car in park. You know what I mean? I'm just out, like ready to fucking go. And that's how I imagine it. You know, I think we talked about this before that we should get down there, if that's allowed, where we could go on and actually feel what that feeling's about. I'd obviously have to stay in the car, to be honest. I'm gonna tell you right now. You got to just tell somebody
I would like
to hang.
to do it like documentary style. Like that would be interesting. Like it would probably
Yeah.
it'd be the next Tiger King or something, man. We could be the next Tiger King. But like,
Do you feel that in your gut when it's time to go? Like it's time to go.
Well, I'll definitely be once all this stuff's over, my first exposure after this whole break. I'm definitely going to have butterflies in my stomach just getting back into it. But I would liken it to how a coach feels before a game. It's like you've been there 100 times before, but you got to be ready for right now at all times. You can change his adjustment, and at the same time, so you're not like nervous. It's just it's a weird feeling. You're not nervous.
Like let's go.
It's kind of just like adrenaline. You know what I mean? Just like let's go, man.
yeah.
And game plan works out.
Ashley left us a great comment, and I also we have a couple questions, but Ashley left us a great comment that said, "Keep coaching the damn car." And to anybody out there viewing, hey, if you guys are enjoying the content and what we're talking about here, please consider going to Bridging the Gap and liking our page and following us for more awesome content. We like to do about two interviews a week usually. With various different people, and also you get to have some me and Coach time, which if you really don't know us, we're pretty funny. We like to think so anyway. But anyway, here's the one question that Ashley had, and it's a good question. Have you ever had to appear in court on behalf of a certain situation to speak as a witness or what have you?
Yeah, I had two subpoenas, only two. I'm surprised it was only two.
Wow.
But one was actually for family court, so I don't know if that should be counted. But both times I had to sit on a stand and go over chat logs. I essentially just had to say who we are, what we do, how we do it, and then verify that the chat logs presented as evidence were, actually our chat logs beginning to end and all that.
Right.
The other one, that was in family court. The other one was pretty much the same thing, except they played the video. And it was kind of fun because it was like, remember on Fridays in school, they'd wheel in the TV cart?
The AV cart, yeah.
Yeah.
So on they hit the projector up and we watched the exposure like 5 times, and they went into slow motion like towards the end because the guy tried to run us over. The defense was trying to say that he didn't try and run us over, but they eventually saw when they got the right frame that his wheels were all the way turned towards me, and I was standing on the sidewalk next to the building. So he definitely did. But
now, speaking of that, you said you only did 2. Now, on the scale of like how serious people are taking what you're doing and transferring that over to court to get some of these people busted, do you measure your success on how, if you're doing more of them, would you mind do more of them? If they need you, you're on call for it?
As far as going to court, yeah, I'll go to court anytime. If it helps back up what we're doing, that's the whole point, right? When we first started this, it was just expose them, and if the cops get involved, that's just bonus points. You know what I mean? And at this point, we've established quite a few relationships with some law enforcement officers. So sometimes I'll get an email before I even get home from the exposure. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
But then other times I got to kind of push. So that's definitely the goal, is to get them not only exposed to their community, but also into the legal system. But honestly, the exposing someone on the internet, the way shit's set up nowadays, is a lot more powerful than the justice system. And it's sad to say, because if somebody gets caught doing something horrible to a kid, they're either going to get like 6 months or like 10 years. You know what I mean? So,
which still, isn't enough. And
It can hide,
it just doesn't justify it.
and they can hide. They can hide in plain sight if people don't, look for them, their registry or whatever, see where they're registered at, and find that out. I said this before. I looked just because I was coaching some kids in a new area, new kids, new parents. So I was meeting the parents, and there was one concern. She's one of those ones that looks out for everybody's kids, and she was just telling me, hey, be careful. A lot of people in this area from him. And she gave me the site to go look at. And I went and looked at it. I couldn't believe all the people that were surrounding me. Now,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I look at that every now and then. And that just says that I see this guy walking down the street multiple times. Like I just got to get up when I see him. I either cross the street or drive past him with the mean because it just boils my blood. I don't know if I want to look at that stuff but this is what the point I was trying to get at. They're there. They're just normal walking down the street. If I didn't know that, I'd be like, hey, what's up, Johnny? How you doing? And probably have a conversation with him, because that's just who I am, and not knowing. So in saying that, like you were saying, the power of the exposure is probably way better, because even if they go into the system, obviously you want both, but if they just go in the system, they can hide their little scary asses out if nobody really looks for them.
Yep. Yeah, and the system's so flooded. If one of these guys move and they don't report their new address or whatever, it could be your new neighbor, and you could look on Google when somebody moves in, or look on the registry, I meant, and his name ain't going to show up, or his face isn't going to show up because he never moved it. The system is it's messed up. It could be effective, but it's not quite effective at this point.
Yeah. Well, I am reminded by one of the videos that you did last time that we had you on that I seen, where there was a guy who was older, or he was like in his 40s or something like that, and he said something because someone asked a question: what was the worst excuse you ever heard? And I thought this was interesting because I remember that guy coming and he said it was a mistake, he started saying all of that to you guys, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself. And what I loved your response. You were like, "Great, you waited 40. You made it 40 years before becoming a child predator. Congratulations, And and to me, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you making these videos, how it works better for the societies, like the people the predators out there, the people who might be thinking about taking that step, see that. And it makes them go, you know what? No, I think I'm good. I'm not gonna go for that. Whatever fantasy that they have or whatever. Like just because of seeing that video. And I'm kind of curious now. What is the worst excuse you've heard from somebody whenever they talk to you, if you have one?
It's a lot of the same. It's either it was a mistake, like you said, or I don't remember her telling me how old she was. It's all, they're all like the same person. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't really have an excuse that stands out, because
they just throw them out pretty much. I mean, they're just probably there.
And for yeah,
because most of them, from what I've seen, they don't really, honestly, they don't have excuses. More so, they just they say they're basically denial, or they walk away, or and when they do talk, it's usually it's basically them almost crying and apologizing because they know they were wrong. I don't really see them making too many excuses, or they say I didn't know. That's pretty much it, really, from what I've seen. Somebody in the chat said they shared one of your lives once, and the person one of the person that you exposed, their boss saw the video, and then they lost their job and all kinds of stuff over one of your videos. So I guess that's a kudos and a win right there, even though it was definitely more effective and action was taken. So that's good. Another question that a lot of people have been asking, they want to know why you started.
I saw a video back in August of 2018, It was the guy Chad from Dirty South Justice, and so I kind of fell down a rabbit hole watching all these videos. I saw some other teams, so it just kind of inspired me to do it by seeing them do it. You know what I mean? And it's because nothing that I necessarily ever put too much thought into. And, you know, I have two daughters who are now 13 and 12, so they're getting at that age. They're active on, you know, certain platforms that a lot of people are like, why would you let your kid? Well, because all their friends are doing it. I can't stop them.
Mhm.
And
They're gonna
I
do
could.
it.
Like, they, you know, that's not, you know,
Yeah.
as
They're
long
gonna
as
do it.
I mean, you gotta let them live their lives, but at the same time, you also gotta be like, well, and you thought to yourself, well, if I can just help it make the world a little safer from this and do my part, I guess then I can have a little bit better conscience about it. Is that what you're
and
getting at?
and they could be they're if you're watching their pops do it, you know, and he's doing and what you're doing, they could recognize things. They're going to be ahead of the game, and maybe one of their friends gets stuck in some shit, and they could stop some stuff from happening. So
Yeah.
I see it in that manner. Like you said, you're obviously going to just have to monitor some things, but I would think they would be more educated than the average Joe because their dad does it. So I think that I would look at it in that manner and always pump that in their head. Like, you recognize this, you know, give us a call.
we preach checking your kids' devices. I also preach to just keep communication with your kids. You know what I mean? Don't make it so they're afraid to come to you. And I can't tell if it's because I do what I do or because I've always promoted such an open communication with my kids that they do come to me anytime there's anything fishy online. They do come to me. But again, it's hard to tell if it's because I do this and they're just super educated about what to look for and all that, or just a communication thing.
Right. I think they both go the same. They both go the same because one's helping the other. The good communication, if you're just a good communicator, like I'm a good communicator with mine, they're able to talk to me about anything, but that thing might slip through the crack if they didn't see me doing it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't coach football, my kids probably wouldn't have played football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or my nephews or something like that. And then they went on to coach kids and stuff like that. He probably wouldn't have did that. So I think they go hand in hand. And saying that, all right, so we got all that information. You guys are doing an awesome job over there. I would like to just get to know Mike a little more, man. So for the people out there to get to know what type of person you are and why you do that, where everything where you lie. So let's delve into a few things on who you are, what you're doing. First of all, how do you feel about this Corona shit, the lockdown and all that? How do you feel about that?
All right, look, first of all, I'm not taking any validity away from the virus itself. I'm not saying it's fake or whatever. It's just, as far as this lockdown bullshit, come the fuck on, man. It's
Right.
like, why is it we go to Walmart, we can go to Walmart and shit, but we can't go to the liquor store, or I can't go get my hair cut. But
Apparently you can. If you got a bottle.
Can't get your hair
get
cut.
that.
Are we
Got
hold
the
on, hold on. Are
bob.
we really comparing the length of hair right now? Because we can go there if you like.
Hey, at least
We
you
can
guys
go
got
there.
some, man. I got
We can
none.
go there if you like. Can we just do the rest of the show with hat hair? Can we just do it? Like, I'll leave this all out here. You wear yours like that? Yeah, look. Well, I look like I'm in like an emo boy band right now. Like, if I have my hair like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really looks that way. But I need it. Listen. Mike doesn't know about our bet we were talking about beforehand. But because we got 1,000 follows and likes on our Facebook page, I have to get a perm, and Coach has to get a toupee. And when this is over, we're going to get a permanent toupee.
What style?
It's hilarious.
Coach, what style are you getting?
I'm just gonna get the look. Huh?
That's a big decision.
It is. I was either thinking about taking it back to the '80s with a nice little high top, or just get the low fade back up. I might have fun with it though. I might come out here and look like Kid and Play out this motherfucker or something like this. But yeah, that's awesome. So you feel the same as we do. we just want to get back out there and get back to work and do the things that we like doing and just let the chips fall where they may. Even though it's still in the back of my head, I think we have to be careful what we're doing, because I would hate if I went out there just thinking about myself, knowing that I could go see my aunt that's elder and which is affecting the most. And she gets hit. Yeah, oh, you got the mask.
You guys selling the brand of the mask. Look at you. Shameless plug.
Oh, buddy. There you go. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I would definitely hate to bring something back to my aunt or something like that because I was being careless.
It's like all right, I respect the virus and all that, so I don't want anything to get misconstrued. But all right, say let the stylist open. All right, just let 2 people in, one person per barber or stylist. You know what I mean? Why does it? I don't understand why.
Or space, or between each chair, put those shields up.
It is. You go to Great Clips. There's big plastic dividers between every chair.
Oh, wait. Are you saying you've been to a Great Clips that's open, or are you saying that just like the one you go to already has it before the virus even came?
Yeah, the one I used to go to before she fucked my hair all up. I now
get
go
him! Mike, tell us how you really feel about her. You know, I got a funny story.
I part my hair, right? And the part, I'm also bald. The part usually goes right where the peak of my bald is, right?
All right.
Well,
yeah.
She went down here with the part.
Oh,
and then so when I'm doing my hair for the next like 2 months, I had like long hair on this side and short. I get a fade with like a 2 on top, maybe 2.5,
right?
And part it. But yeah, so I never went back. Shout out to Top Hat Salon and Barbery in Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Good plug.
We're gonna get all these, like, you're just gonna tag everybody in these comments, and then you're gonna have to send them the invoice. Now listen, so the story I was gonna say about my haircut was I went to a Great Clips too. This is why I don't go to Great Clips no more, and I actually have like someone who's like my person who cuts my hair. I went in one day and I was like, yeah, I want to get a mohawk, and they're like, yeah, like a 3 on the, whatever, one on the sides, and like, or what was it, like they said like a 3 up top and like a 1 on the sides. I'm like, yeah, right, thinking they knew. And then she grabs the clipper. She's like, all right, are you ready for your mohawk? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And she went right down the middle of my head. I said, what are you doing? And she's like, and I'm like, I wanted a mohawk. And she's like, I thought you were joking. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, what? And I'm never gone back again. They got me a free haircut coupon. I never went back.
Just real quick, shout out to Great Clips. Great place. Go check them out. Not talking bad on anybody.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying Great Clips is bad.
Right.
I'm just saying when you go to Great Clips, you sometimes don't know who you're getting. And you can't trust them, because the lady who cut my hair, I loved it, and then she made notes in my thing to say this is how he likes it cut. Apparently, she must have left out the keyword mohawk, because they didn't understand that. So when they cut my hair, it was like, oh damn! Like I just could not believe, like I said, like she started right here. No one ever does that. Like right down the middle. It was like a joke to her. I swear.
Yeah. So, and the last thing I want after that experience, when you just completely destroyed the hair, it took me years to grow out to get to that length, is fucking a coupon for a free haircut from the same place. Like, go to hell, your ass, lady.
Right.
Fuck the free haircut. I want my money.
Right. That's what I honestly, I probably could have pushed for it, but I'm too nice of a guy. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Hey guys, again, I want to thank everybody who came in and stopped in to support Mike. And if you guys come by our show and you like what we do, please consider following Bridging the Gap on our show, guys. We would appreciate seeing you guys. We have interviews with people all the time that are fantastic, and we like to make that great content. What do we got here? Mike, Heather Elena says Mike and his plugs. Oh, Mike, you got tons of plugs. Yeah, they're calling you out.
Dude, you got plugs up there, Mike. You just said you were bald.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Stateside vodka. No, the other plugs.
That's your plug.
Product. No, the Stateside vodka thing. That's an ongoing joke, because I'll go live from the PPH group, not the page, the group. and I'll just have some drinks and we'll cut it up. I'll be on for like 8 and 12 hours at a time, some ridiculous shit. But yeah, we just have fun with it. So that's the product placement is an ongoing joke from those lives. But
Right. Yeah, because Catherine comes out and says, "Here comes the vodka," and then Doug. Oh my, this name is fantastic. Doug White Bear Smith says, "Just saw where a guy in West Virginia cut. Wait, what? Cut go head yesterday with people going over the state line to get haircut. Oh, people were going to different states to get haircuts and stuff.
He cut 60 heads, not go head.
Oh, 60 head yesterday. Okay, I got you.
Right. So we talked earlier. I feel bad for you about this, that I asked this question and you get the answer. I just feel horrible. You're an Eagles fan, right?
Yes.
Horrible for you. I feel horrible for you. How are you feeling about your squad?
I feel good, man. Carson put on a solid performance last year. Threw over 4,000 yards and didn't have any receivers with over 500 yards total, I think. So, do that. It's and most of the team was injured last year. They were dropping like flies, but it is what it is on that end. But so this year, depending on it's going to be weird watching them if there's no fans in the stands. A lot of the whole home field advantage thing is having people having your back to drive you, and you take that element out. It's going to be interesting if they decide to go that route. I'm against it. I'm just like sit somebody every third chair or whatever. Knock it from 75,000 capacity to 20,000. Whatever you got to do, just make it happen.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe what they could do is they could probably just, if they want to cut that down and not fill seats, they could probably just make ticket prices a little bit more expensive or something, or whatever they want to do. I don't know. I'm just saying, or
that's hurting a fan right there. You just probably want to say, hey, if you go to this game, it's this person's turn, so and spread them out. You know what I mean? You're just going to miss certain. You're not going to be able to just pop up. Have you ever been to a game?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to get one every year. I think this past season was the first year I haven't been to a game in probably like 7 years. I always try and get to at least one.
Right.
Season.
Yeah, you guys are on our schedule this year. We'll be meeting up. I'm gonna pop in sometime and talk shit. Because everybody I know, if my squad's playing them, you expect to get that message that we'll be talking shit throughout that time or whatever. So, cool.
I'm a Raiders fan, as evident by my blurred blanket there over my shoulder, on the wall there. So where I rep. So obviously, I've never been to a game because. Some of us don't have the money to go to Oakland, California, or now Las Vegas, which, hey, now it gives me an excuse to go to Vegas and like my girlfriend or anybody else that I know in life can't be mad at me,
Yeah.
Coach, you coming? Hey, guys, we're all going to Vegas, guys. I think that's what me and Coach, we're going to Vegas, go watch a Raiders game.
What's that movie? What's Hangover?
The Hangover?
It would be
The Hangover?
Every time I go somewhere, it turns into a fiasco, bro. It's fun as hell, but we have all kinds of those wild little stories that we have to come back with when I go out. Because I just have fun, bro. I just have fun. You got to have some fun sometimes and just release from all the bullshit and just let it be. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean?
Oh, Trevor Simmons, my man. He says Raiders rule. Thank you, Trevor. You know where it's at. You the real MVP, homie. You know what it's good. What Justin Gower says Raiders ? Bunny Ranch. Joe Shimmer's like Hangover. Doug White Bear Smith. Cheap airfare to Vegas. Is it really? Oh yeah, that's a weird thing.
Right now, yeah. It's cheap.
The
cheap as hell.
The airlines were one of the first companies that, like, because we can move a little bit political with this, but airline companies were one of the first companies bailed out after all of the after they started giving out all the bailouts, and I kind of was curious like what you guys thought about that in respect to other businesses and everything else. And I'm kind of curious what Mike, what you think about small businesses, and do you think enough's being done for them right now?
Well, no, there's not enough being done for them, and that's because a lot of the larger corporations who make billions of dollars in profits every year, after the overhead and all that, just in profits, are taking these loans meant for actual small businesses. And again, I'm a huge supporter of small business. I'd much rather go to, Harry's Hardware than Home Depot any day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so they already get the shitty end of the stick to begin with, small businesses.
Yeah.
Then these loans come out, they're just like, it's a free for all, and the big companies are grabbing them all. It's like, no, you guys need to establish. All right, you gave everybody $1,200 for whatever fucking reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you put together a package out of those trillions of dollars to only employees with less than 10 only employers with less than 10 employees? You know what I mean?
Right.
Give them a bunch of money to keep them afloat, because most small businesses aren't set up to have no income for 6, 8, 12 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah, even 4 weeks, even. Like not at all. Like I think what a restaurant got shut down just recently where we are. That like I mean it wasn't even probably 8 weeks tops. Gone, just donezo. They couldn't afford the place anymore. It was over.
Right.
And this is the thing too, though. Everybody always speaks like this is what upsets me, because they speak this is America, be patriot, America, America, America. But the moms and pops built this country. The moms and pops should have been first in line. Like you guys already got a tax break. That trickle down bullshit don't work. Give the moms and pop the money up front. You guys got to wait until we figure something out. So that's simple to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I have a story that relates to this that happened today. Coach knows about it because I called him while I was waiting for it. But I decided, I'm like, I was going out today to get a gift for a girl that I like and my mom. And I wanted to get candles. And I was at Walmart getting a phone card, and I was like, no, I'm not buying a candle from here. I'm going to go to a small business. I know too many people around this area that sell candles and stuff. Well, it basically ended up being like this big long fiasco of like phone tag to try and get someone to get a candle. Because like for one, I'm sure a lot of the people that are doing business aren't like, they're not used to even doing business right now. They're probably shocked that someone was actually trying to buy a candle, because people probably aren't buying anything. So I'm trying to find someone. I find somebody, and I'm waiting to get this candle. It ended up being like this like kind of like 2-hour thing to get these candles, which were really nice when I got them. And even though I was kind of complaining about how much work it was at the time, it still was nice because I knew that I was giving to a person across the road from me who, whenever I finally got the candle, I was like, you know what, it's okay, because these are genuine, real people that are trying to make a living doing this, and they gave me a good product, and I have to be okay with that, And they did it. Honestly, I did it last second because I wanted the stuff today so I could ship it out today and send it to where I need to send it to. So again, it's like that. That's the rewarding part to me, and I encourage everybody after this whole pandemic's over. Not to be on my soapbox here, but go shop local, please. I mean, because as you saw, these big companies, they're too big to fail. They get to stay open, and all the everybody, like if your mom or your brother owns a store, forget you. The government doesn't care.
They just gave all, like you said, Mike, $1,200. Now, granted, a couple people, people had to probably catch up on a little bit, depending on what they got in on some of their bills. But they took the rest of that money can only spend it in one or two places, like a Walmart or something like that. So they just gave Walmart all this money, and then they're going to turn around and probably get a bailout of some sort too.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the worst part is you get that stimulus check. Oh, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, most small businesses aren't allowed to be open right now, and they're entrepreneurs can't collect unemployment. You know what I mean? Well, a lot of them, a lot of them can, but a lot of them also can't, and it's lost money.
Right.
So instead of giving that money that we're giving to Walmart, like you said, and Giant or whatever supermarket, they really didn't think that one through.
Yeah, well, that's the worst part. Like, obviously, the point being is that if you get a stimulus check to stimulate, and you want, and even if you wanted to spend it on local business, you couldn't because none of them are open. None of
Right.
them are
Yeah.
open. Nick
You can do what
Victor.
you said, Mike. This is all said and done. Because let's be honest, I've been seeing, I have a lot of small businesses on my thing, and I've seen multiple people say, "Hey guys, I can't do it no more. I'm done. I gotta kick it." And that's got to be like those things. Like, why I get why people are headed to the Capitol and like open this place back up. It's doing this. It's doing that. I think there's different stories for different things, and like they're not giving answers to people. So people are sitting there panicked, like when they could just say, "Hey, bottom line is we're going to get we're going to get to these situations." It's got to be a categorized and say, "Hey, we're going to get to it. We're going to figure something out for you guys, whether it's tax break or giving you a grant to get back on your feet." Well, they can't just let them close like that because people put their blood, sweat, and tears. And I know a lot of these people, and I'll be like, "Damn, they've been grinding to get that up, and now they got, and it's so tough right now. They just got to bow out."
Yeah, their whole life is gone. Something they worked their whole life to get, to get to that point. It's all gone after a few weeks of losing profits. That'll get you, man. You still got to pay, electric. You don't have hair, dude. What are you doing?
He got you. He got you. There's a part of me that thinks that Coach was waiting for him to get, like, he was taunting you with the cone because he's been playing with it for, like, literally half the show. He's been waiting for you, Mike. He's been waiting there, like, waving it around, like, tell me I ain't got hair. Let's start this fight right now. Let's start this fight. But let me see here. I have some people in the chat. Nick Victor Maria Jensen says, "Global revolt. This is a time to stand up against the ruling billionaires. Everyone globally should stop working, see how fast shit changes, and then they'll stop earning money." That's a beautiful dream. I really agree with it. But the truth is, I'm not like totally against a capitalistic system. I just think that what happened is you let two people get too powerful in it, and now they run everything. And then when things like this happen, they're too big to fail. And even if they do poorly in sales, the truth is they would get, if we all stopped not working but just shopping there, they'd probably find a way to get bailed out by some big government, and then they would last just as long to stay there. It's ridiculous.
That's true. That is true. Hey, we're getting out that time. Hey, Mike, man, we enjoy having you on, man. Like we said before, bro, I'm dead serious about that coming down there. I don't know what you got to do, if you got to talk to some people to get it done, but I would love to go on a ride along with you guys. Maybe get some handcuffs and handcuff me to the door because I love action like that, bro.
Right.
I love action like that. So, you're an awesome dude, man. I love your energy. I love what you guys do. Keep doing that shit, and keep in touch. You got anything to plug?
Just PPH. We've been working on our Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, check us out on there. We've had someone building up our archive on there. Of course, shout out to Stateside Vodka, Philadelphia's own. The Stateside Vodka will deliver to your door.
Yeah.
Right.
Stateside. I'm telling you, Stateside Vodka are they paying you?
No.
They're not paying. Oh, bro, you gotta get paid for that, and we gotta get a little bit of that too, just because we hosted it. But regardless, everybody who stopped by tonight, you guys have been absolutely terrific. Thank you to everybody who stopped by in the chat and talked with us this evening. This has been a fantastic show. Mike, we do love you and appreciate everything you do, and we would love, like I said, we want to come down sometime. We're gonna have to go. I don't know how we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to film something and see what comes out from being down there with the Pennsylvania Predator Hunters. And also, we'll add we'll link your page. That way people can go and click it and then go straight there and like you guys' page, because we really want, I mean, if you care about your children and everyone around and other people's children around you, I would definitely join the group just to know what these people might look like, even if you just pop in a live for, 4 seconds just to see who the guy is and then leave, that could make all the difference, because you might see the guy down the street with your neighbor's daughter or something. It really could be that simple. So please, by all means, guys, go like their page. If you're still here watching our thing, please go like Bridging the Gap if you haven't already, guys. We appreciate everybody, and we're out of here. Take care, guys. Stay beautiful.